everyone, welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Today we are making the side saddle stitch. That's a bit of a mouthful, tongue twister to say side saddle stitch. So we've got these clusters of double crochets going sort of one way, and then we've got them going back the other way. So we are working in rows, working up, and then we do a board round to finish off. So you can do this in different colour changes if you would like. I'm just going to work up in my lavender kind of colour. And the only other thing is, obviously if you're changing colours you will need scissors, and a stitch marker may be useful. You know how much I love my stitch markers to help out. So other than that, grab your hook, grab your yarn, and let's get started. Okay, now the pattern says to chain 22, and that's what I've done on this swatch here, but it's actually only about 5 inches for me, so whether I've crocheted tighter, I don't know. So if you're a tight crocheter, I would suggest you up your stitches, which is what I'm going to do. If you're a fairly loose crocheter, I suggest you stick with the 22. So if you're quite tight crocheting, if your squares tend to come up a bit smaller, then chain 27. If you are regular or a bit loose, then chain 22. Okay, so I'm going to chain 27, and I will see you back in a moment. Okay, now the only difference with doing 27 chains rather than 22 is that you will have one extra cluster on your row to the people that are only doing 22. Okay, don't get confused, don't get worried, I will talk you through it, we'll all be fine. So yes, you will just have one more cluster on each row than the people who have only done 22. Okay, but it does mean you don't have to do extra borders. Obviously you could do it this size and then just do extra borders, that's fine. Anyway, let me stop waffling. So you've done your chain, and then you're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from your hook, so not this loop on your hook. Skip a chain and do a single crochet in that second chain, and then you are going to chain 3. Oh, this is our stitch marker. So in that single crochet that you just made, because it kind of gets a bit lost in amongst everything else, and you will need to use it later, so pop your stitch marker through that stitch. You don't have to, but I found that I was struggling to find that last stitch there, so just pop that stitch marker in. I love, if I can make life easier, then that's what I will do. Okay, so we've chained 3, and then in the next 4 chains you are going to do a double crochet 4 together. So this is when we do a partial double crochet, so we yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, and then we do yarn over, pull through 2, and then we leave the last loop on the hook. So then we go into the next stitch, the next chain, yarn over, pull through 2, you've now got another loop. So you'll always have one more loop than the amount of stitches you've done, because you've got this one that's on your hook anyway, and now we've got 2. So you've done 2, so then we need to do a third, and then we need to do a 4th, and then you can see you've got 5 loops on your hook now. Yarn over and pull through all 5 stitches, and it makes this sort of triangle effect. So that's your double crochet 4 together, making your cluster. So then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to do a single crochet into your next chain. Okay, and then you're going to repeat this, so chain 3, in the next chain do a double crochet 4 together, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you've got 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1 and a single crochet into the next chain. and you're going to repeat this all the way to the end. Your last single crochet should go into your last chain. Okay, I will meet you back when you've finished this row. So just to remind you, you're going to do a chain 3, then a double crochet 4 together, chain 1 and a single crochet. Okay, and I've just popped a stitch marker in my last single crochet so I know where I am on that end as well. So this is what you've got. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters. If you've done a chain of 22, you will have 4 clusters. Okay, so you've either got 4 or 5 clusters there, but apart from that, everything is exactly the same. So now we're going to move on to row 2, and row 2 is where your repeat will start. We're going to do row 2 and row 3, and those are the 2 rows that you're then going to repeat all the way up to the top. So we'll start that now. Okay, so now we're working in rows, so we're going to turn our work over and work from the back, and we are going to ignore our stitch marker. Just pop it out of the way there, it's wanting to do its own thing. So chain 5 and then a single crochet into your cluster. Now if you look, you have got a gap here, and you can see that. Oh, my table, it's been quite quiet recently, but now it's getting creaky again. So you've got a space here, and you've also got a space here. Now if you remember when we did this previous row, we did our cluster and then we did a chain 1. So on the back, this first one will be your chain space, this second one will be the top of your cluster. So go into there and do a single crochet, and then similar to the corner to corner square, if you know corner to corner, we're going to work a bit like that. So we're going to chain 3, and then into this chain space you're going to do your double crochet 4 together into this chain space. So this is why it's a little bit like corner to corner, because we're working in a space. So you're going to do your first double crochet, leaving a loop, then your second, then your third, then your fourth, and then you're going to pull through all 5 loops, and then as before you are going to chain 1, and then you're going to do a single crochet over into the top of your cluster, and then chain 3, then 4 double crochet 4 together, sorry, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1, single crochet in the top of your cluster. So we're going to do this all the way along. Lost my loop there. So you're going to, yeah, like I said, do this all the way along. I'll just do it with you. So chain 1, single crochet in the top of your cluster. There we go. Chain 3. Double crochet 4 together in your chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet in the top of your cluster. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This is our 4th. Chain 3, double crochet 4 together in your chain space. Oops, I've just done a whole double crochet there. Let's take that back a bit. We'll start again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through. Now if you did 22 chains, that is where you will finish. You've done 4 clusters, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you'll finish. Just hold on 1 second and we're going to finish the row. If you've done 27 chains, then do another set of this with me now. So chain 1. If you've only done 22, don't chain 1. So chain 1, chain 1, getting myself confused now. Single crochet in the top of your cluster, chain 3, and do your last double crochet 4 together in that chain space. 2, 3, 4. 4. There we go. Yarn over, pull through all 5. So now you will have 5 clusters, exactly as you had 5 on the previous row. So whether you've got 4 or 5 clusters, it makes no difference. Don't do a final chain 1, just remove your stitch marker and you are going to do a double crochet into that single crochet there. Now it looks like it's on the side, and that's why I said to put a stitch marker in, because it looks like you're not meant to be working into it, but you are. So there is your double crochet into that single crochet, and that is the end of row 2. Now if you want to, you can pop your stitch marker into the top of this double crochet so that you then know where that final stitch is, because it can get a little bit distorted in this pattern. So that's row 2. Now we're going to move on to row 3, which is your second row of repeat for this square. Okay, so row 3 is very similar. We're going to start with a chain 1, and then we're going to skip this double crochet that we've just made at the end of the last row, and we're going to do a single crochet in the top of our cluster. And then after you've done that chain 1 and single crochet, actually the stitch marker, it doesn't need to be in that double crochet, it needs to be in your chain 1. So mark your, not your single crochet, but your chain 1, mark that so you know where that is, because that's what you're going to want on the end of the next row. Okay, so now you're going to work along just as you have done before. You're going to do chain 3, and then you're going to do your single crochet, double crochet 4 together in this chain space. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pull yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the top of the next cluster. Simples. And then you're going to do chain 3, double crochet 4 together in this next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, chain 1, single crochet in the top of your next cluster, chain 3, double crochet 4 together in the next chain space, 3 and 4, yarn over, pull through all 5, chain 1, single crochet into the top of your next cluster, chain 3. Now if you've done 22 chains, this will be your last cluster. So do your double crochet 4 together, 2, 3 and 4. And then if that's your if you've done 22 chains, that was your final cluster, so just wait 1 second. If you've done 27 like me, do a chain and then a single crochet in your next cluster, and do your last chain 3 and your last double crochet 4 together in this last chain. 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, pull through, and now I'm going to tell you how to finish this row. Okay, so we've marked our single crochet down here with our stitch marker, and then we know that our chain, we did a chain of 5 if you remember, that starts here next to our stitch. So you want to count to your 3rd stitch, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do a single crochet into that 3rd chain. So just bear with me 1 second. Sorry, I was getting myself confused there. So sorry, you need to do a chain 1 first, and then you are going to do a single crochet in your 3rd chain. So 1, 2, 3, or if you count from this way, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so your middle chain, do a single crochet, and that is where you want to move this stitch marker up to. Pop this in there. Oops. Pop that in the top of that single crochet, because that's where you're going to be ending a row soon. Okay, I'm just confusing myself today. That's not where you're going to be ending a row, but it will be like down here. You'll be then counting your chains up from your single crochet. It just means that your single crochet won't get confused in with the chains. Okay, so this is where you will be doing your 2-row repeat. I hope I haven't confused you too much today. So you will need to just rewind back to where I put that note on the video to say repeat starts here. And then just after this bit it will say end of repeat. So then you'll need to rewind it again, and you will need to do about 11 rows. So we've done 3 already, so you need 8 more rows. That'll be 4 more 4 repeats. That's roughly how much you'll need, but you'll need to measure it and make sure it's square. So you can either do that, you know, fold it diagonally, or get your ruler and measure it. So you can see this one is nearly 6 inches, which is good. And then we'll do the border. So rewind and follow this 4 times, or even a bit more if you need. You might need a couple more to make your size if you've done 27 chains. Okay, so your next row you will be starting with a chain 5. I'll see you later. Okay, when you've finished your rows, you'll have something that looks a bit like this. I love it. I love this square. I love the way that you've got rows going in one direction and then rows going in the other direction. Love it. It's very, very much like the C to C, corner to corner when you look at it. It's great. Obviously, you could go down a hook size if you don't want such big gaps in amongst it. There we go. So for your border, now, oh sorry, I'll just tell you that I have done 11 rows. I've got my first row, and then I've got 6 repeats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 repeats, sorry. If you did 22 chains, you might have only needed 4 repeats. So just fold your square over, and if it practically is square, then if it meets top and side, then that's practically square. Ready for your border. Okay, our border is going to be half double crochets, and your corner stitches are going to be half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet. So obviously you could change colour for your border. I'm not going to. I'm just going to stick with what I've got going. So you're going to start where your loop is, and you're going to make going to do chain 4, and that counts as a half double crochet and a chain 2, and then into this same stitch do a half double crochet, and that will be your corner. So there we go, that's your corner. Okay, now you're going to make 20 half double crochets down this side. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 chain spaces going on here, so I can just tell myself that I'm going to do 4 half double crochets in each chain, space. Okay, if you've got less than that, you can obviously do your maths and work out how many in each, or you can do what I showed you in a previous video. You can just find halfway, fold it in half or whichever, and then just mark halfway with your stitch marker, and then you know that you need to do 10 on either side, and then if you wanted to you could pop another one like a quarter of the way, and you know you've got to do 5, 5, 5 and 5. Okay, so whichever way you feel comfortable, or you could just not put any stitch markers in and just do it completely by eye. So 20 half double crochets, and then when you get to your bottom stitch you're going to do half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, and then 20 along your bottom edge, so you'll be going into the bottom of the chains, and then 20 up this side, and then 20 along the top, which you should be able to evenly work out between your chain spaces and your clusters. So 20 along each side, and then your corners, and I will meet you back around here to finish off.